You're good.
Thank you. It is 7 o'clock on September 24th, and we are here to convene the third working meeting of the Willow Park Home Rule Charter Commission. We have nine members, 8 voting members, so we have a quorum. Mr. Hodges told me he would not be here. Mr. Stickland told me he would be here, so I expect he will arrive shortly. So we have a quorum. Judge Roy Kerben has offered to give us a prayer to start the meeting. And Dave, would you lead us in the pledge?
Please bow our heads, please. Heavenly Father, stay with us tonight. Share your wisdom with us. Help us do a perfect job. Help us help this community with a strong home rule program. Help us cooperate and help each other. Be kind to each other. And make a difference in the lives of all the citizens who live. In Jesus' help, amen.
Thank you. Okay.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
This chair's right down there.
Where's the Mars video? The 2 cameras in. So now we got one on each side.
Oh, goody.
Why?
Hey, Albert, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm good.
Okay. So, actually, a public service announcement. I'm using my own computer for this. I have all of the data that we'll be discussing on this one flash drive. None of this material is on my computer disk. Okay. Do we have anybody that signed up for public comment?
Not me today.
Okay.
If I could have 2 minutes.
You may have 3.
Okay. I don't even need that much, but Fritz Quast is here from Messer Fort. I know he's outside with the mayor right at the moment, but he is here and available to you as legal advice, legal review, anything along those lines. We would rather you have him and not need him than need him and not have him. So he will be here to give advice, questions, anything y'all need and support for what y'all are trying to do. If you have legal questions, he's here for you. That's what he's here. Cool.
Got it.
Okay.
I think it's I've been on record as saying that that's, I believe, premature expense.
It might be.
If y'all want to spend the money, great.
Like I said, I would rather you have him and not need him than come through your whole process, do all the work you need to do, and then we find there's a hiccup.
Well,
So-
we may find an opportunity to take advantage of that.
That's fine.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
And if you don't use him, no problem. But like I said, he is here, he is available, and that's what he's here for.
All right. Appreciate it, Mr.
Thank
Rock.
y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you. Kenji, Buddy Wright commented on the lawyer was here.
Can I make a quick announcement?
I don't know. Can you make a quick announcement?
I'm not having a midlife crisis. I played a joke on my wife and I temporarily dyed my hair. Forgot we had to come to a professional meeting, so.
Oh, that's great.
Gray is not gone, it's coming back. I'm gonna let her. My wife was like, you need to tell me. You're not having a midlife crisis.
That's okay, I am.
You are not.
That's okay. My daughter told me I should duck in my hair. Okay, back to this. Thank you very much. The next thing on the agenda is the approval of minutes from August 27th. Have them on the screen in case anybody had any comments, corrections. Anything?
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Second. Motion made by Mr. Chandler, second by Mr. Lorenzo. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Discussion action on adopting a mission statement. This is old business. At the last meeting, we discussed what was put out as an original version and a revised proposal. And then Daryl took notes during the meeting and created this version. For anyone watching online, we do not have the capability to share out the video that we're looking at. What we are looking at is text documents that we can edit in real time, that everybody can see and agree on the wording. I wish I could share that out, but I'm told that the expense to the city to create that function would be large.
Did you read it to them? What you're referring to?
Well, what I will do, I'm not gonna read all three versions.
It's the
But
one
when we
you're
get to an endpoint, I will read the result. Okay? So I distributed this information several days ago. Does anybody have a motion to make or a,
I move that we adopt the latest version as the mission statement for the,
the latest version that's identified as number 1 of it?
correct.
The only thing we need to do is where it says Willow Park, Texas. At the very, right there on the, second to last line, future needs of the city of Willow Park, Texas.
Okay, so the Department of Redundancy Department has suggested that we add that one more time. Every time.
Otherwise, everybody's gonna say, we're in the hills of Willow Park.
Okay. So a little detail here.
I'm in my motion to include that change.
Um.
It took me 3 days to type that little bit of junk. Holy mackerel.
I've been typing with 2 to 4 fingers for decades. Okay.
Does it
So
have to?
with that addition, does anybody have any other
Yeah,
comment?
put Texas in there too.
It would be wise to put Texas in there.
City of
City
Willow Park, Texas.
And then line before that, also Willow Park, Texas residents.
Line full part.
Yeah, Burn needs Willow Park residents, Willow Park, Texas residents.
On the last one.
I'm hearing you.
I'm gonna push back on that one a little.
I'm thinking that we have the City of Willow Park, Texas Home Rule Charter Commission. We have the City of Willow Park, Texas. If there's any confusion about what this mission statement involves, and again, this is basically what our goal is. It's not this, and a few dollars will get you a cup of coffee somewhere. Right?
But we also want to make it clear that we are the city of Willow Park, Texas. We're proud of where we're at.
Absolutely.
Can we?
And I think that as it's on the screen there accomplishes that. But
Can we adopt it with method provision that we have to where look at that six
which provision?
that we're not saying Texas everywhere. In every single sentence, is that pertinent to anything?
Well, I'm okay with this one.
Well, I am too, I'm just.
I believe that we'll be all right, that once we enter into, I believe it's Article 1 or 2, once we enter into that and we describe our city as Willow Park, Texas, to be known as city. We do not have
Then you
to.
have to do it.
Yes, sir.
But
But
this is
until we
not,
get that
this is
adopted.
not the same legal document
No.
of the
No, this
charter.
is just an
So let's just take them. It's
So
also.
let's refocus here.
Well, it's actually not a preamble.
Carol made a motion. And did we have a second on that?
But then I amended my motion.
Gwen had a second. Michael made a proposition to change, which I typed in and so. And that was accepted as a friendly amendment by the original motion. So is there any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Passes, thank you. So the resultant mission statement is the mission of the City of Willow Park, Texas Home Rule Charter Commission is to create a home rule charter that addresses the current and near-term needs of Willow Park residents. The charter will incorporate flexibility to adapt to the future needs of the City of Willow Park, Texas. We will accomplish this through an open and transparent process by actively involving the Willow Park community. Okay?
Outstanding.
And if I click this button, it'll say save it. And I will distribute that, and that will be posted on the Home Rule Charter Commission page that is accessible from the Willow Park City home page. Okay? So we also had a discussion that was tabled last week on potential for a survey. And I would like input as a suggestion on where to go with this.
Anything under a 5, we need to, if people don't care about it, then let's address it quick and move on and focus on the rest.
Yeah, so what we talked about last time was, we're going to focus on all of those as we go through the draft charter. So it does, if we just follow the charter that has been adopted, we're gonna address everything on that survey anyways. So we kicked around the notion of not needing a survey because we're gonna have to hit every section anyways.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so I have a thought. We are going to very soon talk about a schedule of events on the next agenda item, which will include the proposition that we will hold 1 or 2 town hall meetings. We may want to put out or create a questionnaire that could be distributed through the city list of people that are already on a poll type of list. To pull some information preceding those town hall meetings. So we put this subject as a back burner or be revised or revived later.
I really just wanted to kind of gauge what people cared about and what they didn't.
Got it.
Gene, can I ask you, are you suggesting that we should perhaps make this available I don't know, on the home rule commission page or elsewhere, so that citizens could chime in with their thoughts prior to the proposed town hall meetings?
Okay, so, candidly, my opinion on that as currently created, this would potentially provide more confusing feedback than beneficial.
I understand that, I agree that if we do something like that, it needs to be short, maybe in a question format,
Right,
easily
that's-
understood, but is that the suggestion that some sort of a survey or questionnaire be made available to citizens, perhaps on the website prior
Yes.
to potential home? I think
That-
that's an excellent idea.
I think that's where we should end up. I do not have a proposal for the content of such questionnaire at this point. Okay, so y'all can be thinking about what would be a good question to ask your neighbors. Okay, all right. So I'm gonna
I
assume,
think the first thing that should contain is a short introductory paragraph. that Explains what a home rule city is and the very basic elements of it, because I'll bet you a lot of people, except for municipal law nerds, probably don't have a clue.
And that is correct, because everybody I've talked to, they have no clue what a home rule charter is. They don't know.
okay, so in June 10th or 11th, I forget. The previous city attorney provided a presentation to the city council
Mhm.
that purported to explain pros and cons of general law versus home rule. And that presentation is currently linked from the Home Rule Charter Commission page.
Mhm.
So, but that's the best I can offer at this point in time.
I understand.
And
I mean,
we do
we're-
better prior to a hometown or
Right, and I
town
think
hall
a
meeting.
comparison is necessary, because I will tell you that probably the vast majority of citizens here don't understand how the government works right now. What people are responsible for and what the roles are.
I agree with you, they're difficultly big time.
Yeah, so telling them this is how it's gonna be different from a basis that they don't understand in the first place is kind of weak, it's kind of confusing, more confusing.
I think I don't think you're wrong. I think you're right. But I just want to remind people that our job, in my opinion, is to be completely transparent, make our points, do the best that we can. It is not our job to get 100% voter participation or understanding. That is on them. But we have to give them everything that we can so that they can make that decision. But I also believe in people's ability to not vote. The truth is, it's like if we get over 500 people voting on this, it'll be a shocker.
I bet we could get, well, I'm not gonna do over and under yet, but I bet we could get 600.
Whoa.
We'll talk.
I'll go for 700.
Yeah.
Like,
2 to 1 on 8.
No fair mutual here.
The reason I say that is just I've been a part of things before where it's like, oh, we're trying to build 100% consensus. Like, we're hopefully all gonna work really hard on this, and if we agree 90% on its overall thing, we're all gonna vote for it.
I totally agree.
And so,
It's just for the 500 or 600 that are gonna vote, you wanna have them to have a good understanding.
and
absolutely.
which is why we have to be transparent about
Absolutely.
everything. So they have the information to make it themselves.
Okay, you tempt me to say that the first time I ran for the city council was when I fully understood the word apathy. No, that didn't, no. Anyway, okay, old business. Also, we talked about, is there a need to replace a couple of commission members who have, for different reasons, not able to be here. And I did discuss this with Mayor Palmer, And we talked about the breadth of experience, the number of the truly diverse background of this group. And the mayor recommended no changes at this time. Okay. Any questions?
Do we have a current number on the commission?
Yeah,
We have 10.
we have 11. With one person said they would not be able to come to meetings. I am keeping them informed. Haven't heard anything back, but and we are keeping the quorum level at 7. I think that's a minimum number for us to be doing anything useful. Okay. Yeah.
I'll get the ink.
There's not one, it's black. Thank you.
I'll go tell her.
Sorry.
No, it's sure you don't have. They probably turn up the thermostat here.
Why is there a remote control? Fancy, fancy.
Thank you. I'll get one in the back.
Yes, man, bro.
You have changed directions twice. Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Here we go.
Put about medium.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comment on that subject? No action? Okay. That brings us to what I call the meat.
Be a meat walker in here. We all know.
No such thing.
Never let the fat guy set the AC.
That's pretty fun. Okay. So I have pulled up a text of our straw man version of a charter. I distributed that to you all. I added headers so that we can create a table of contents, which I think is going to be useful. I changed any reference to the city being the city of Wolf Park and in Park County. The charter starts off with a preamble. In my opinion, we go. The preamble is certainly important, but it reflects the rest of the content of the charter. So trying to start with framing the preamble is out of sequence. So we will revisit that later. Okay. So we will start with Article 1, form of government. It's very short. It only has 2 sections. I will read them. Section 101, incorporation. The citizens of the city of Willow Park, Parker County, Texas, are hereby constituted and shall continue to be a municipal body and corporate in perpetuity under the name of the quote, city of Willow Park, unquote, hereinafter referred to as the quote, city, unquote, with such powers, privileges, rights, duties, and immunities as are herein provided. Comments, questions?
John, what do you think?
Looks good to me. Looks good.
Yes, sir.
The phrase, the citizens are hereby constituted. Well, since they offered to have the attorney here, I'm going to ask a question. Is that actually are the citizens constituted or is the city constituted?
So what the citizens are doing are constituting a city. So the thing about being a home rule city is the state is not forming you by special or general legislation. It's the voters of the city that have gotten together, and in this election, they're going to adopt this charter and form this home rule municipal government. So I've seen language like that in many charters, and I do believe it's proper.
So everybody knows that it's not actually the citizens being constituted. It is the citizens are constituting authority within the city. Am I using the English correctly here?
So quite honest,
I thought you were
I don't see anything wrong, particularly if y'all would like to revise that to make it more clear. It is a little, I think, anachronistic and antiquated. You're trying to say that constituted modifies citizens and it shouldn't.
Well,
I can't argue with you. That sounds very, yeah.
I have a question. I'm a great believer in the power of plagiarism. And the more our charter resembles similar charters
that are already in place. and
that are
proven.
already in place and proven by the courts, I think the better off we are. I would say that niceties of language notwithstanding, if this is what I'll say, majority language used for situations like, I just as soon stick with the tried and true.
I don't see anything.
You don't want to blaze a new trail?
I do not believe in
Amen to that, sister.
Not for the boilerplate.
Okay, well, that's not actually boilerplate.
It's traditionally used.
Okay. Well, here's my point. All we have are words. If we don't understand the words, if we do not use language correctly, then we are endangered miscommunication. And not necessarily saying that that's wrong. It just struck me as being slightly vague. Okay. Now, works for other cities. I mean, I've seen that same language other places. It's not unusual, but just because somebody else copied incorrect use of English doesn't mean it's right.
Do you have a suggestion of a more precise way to say it?
The citizens of the city of Little Park, Park County, Texas hereby constitute
Yes,
the city.
to be a municipal body.
Right. That's, I think, correct.
I'm good with that.
Sounds good.
I cannot be the grammar guy. That's great. We're in big trouble. I also want to point out, if we face a legal challenge on the incorporation 101, we are in big trouble. And I'm down.
That brings up the point. I'm gonna have to do a thing, but yeah, I'm gonna turn track changes on because that's gonna become important, isn't it?
Yes.
Hereby constitutes.
No, they constitute the city to be a municipal,
Hereby constitute.
not plural.
Because it's citizens constitute.
All right. Back me up. Tell me again. Hereby,
Constitute, no S.
No plural.
Constitute the city to be a municipal body.
Just X the D.
You could say constitute, strike, and shall continue.
uh,
The city of Willow Park.
is that right?
Could be a municipal
Yeah,
body.
take the D off the constitute.
Yeah, it's crossed out.
Well,
It's crossed out.
it is
It's got
taken
track
off.
changes on there.
Yeah, the blue strikeout is gone. Okay, the red underlined text is added. And you might as well get used to that because we may make more changes as we go.
I think you're gonna have to
Okay.
strike and incorporate.
Yeah.
So that it says to be a municipal body in perpetuity under the name.
Marcy, call my wife, tell her I'm gonna be late.
And be, well, and to be
A
a
municipal body.
municipal body and
And-
corporate in perpetuity.
What does and corporate mean?
I think another way to say that would be incorporated.
To incorporate.
You could, that's fine to say municipal body incorporated in perpetuity. That works too.
Say that again,
So
Carol?
Take
Take out
out
the
and,
after body.
There you
strike
go.
and,
I see where you go.
and then put in front of corporate and put a D at the end. So it's incorporated in perpetuity.
You good with that, Fritz?
I am.
Okay. And I think the rest of it stays exactly like we got it.
Fully,
Privileges, rights, duties, and immunities.
So it will now read,
Yeah.
the citizens of Willow Park, Parker County, Texas, hereby constitute the city of Willow Park, Texas, to be a municipal body incorporated in perpetuity under the name of the quote, city of Willow Park, unquote, hereinafter referred to as the quote, city, unquote, with such powers, privileges, rights, duties, and immunities as are herein provided. Okay? Okay. And I think we actually skipped something in the agenda. My bad. And I,
Review and schedule. You were eager to get to the meat.
yeah, the problem is.
He wanted to slaughter that.
Yeah. Can we,
Problem is that, my chart's gonna have the only thing that we need to look at. So you do have on the table in front of you a piece of paper, looks a lot like this. Okay. And what I'm trying to do here is draft, well, we have a goal to create a charter. I have a goal to get it done by the beginning of December. So how do we do that? Today, I expect we will look at Articles 1, 2, 3, maybe even get into 4. Okay? And then our next meeting, which would be the 8th of October, deal with Articles 5, 6, and 9. And general provisions, the reason I kicked that out of order is general provisions talks about the ethics committee. And before we get to administration and personnel, finance, and a couple other little things, I think we ought to have a really good understanding of where do we want to go with that ethics committee concept. Okay? And I would like that under our belt before we have our first town hall.
Right.
Makes sense.
Any comments so far? I submit this to y'all realizing this is a bit aggressive. This is going to require work by all of us. Okay? So I don't do this lightly, and I need your buy-in to make it happen. So I have already gotten 3 potential dates for a town hall meeting in a facility where we would have plenty of room for anybody who wanted to show up, and we want a bunch of people to show up. Those dates are in priority order of the people running the facility. Thursday, the 11th of October.
No,
It says 16.
16.
Now, what's
Oh,
this?
good deal.
October 11th.
Looks like the red.
Thursday, the
11th is Saturday.
16th of October. The second choice would be Saturday,
Oh, it's in
the
order. I'm so
18th
sorry. Okay.
of October. And the third choice would be Saturday, the 11th of October. That would be pretty quick after our October 8th meeting. So, organizing, advertising, getting things all prepared to run this first town hall. There's going to be a bunch of effort involved. So, anybody have any opinion about where to take that proposal? Because I told Clark Bozier that I would call him tomorrow and tell him what y'all decided.
It seems like they get the most runway. The 18th would be best.
I'm
And it's on a Saturday.
the only date of those 3 that I cannot attend is
I can't attend any of those 3 things.
You can't attend any of them?
Nope, we'll be out of town on vacation.
Okay. Did you buy trip insurance?
Yes, I did, and I don't think this is covered.
When is, with everybody out there listening, is gonna agree with this, when is high school football playoffs? The boosting players, when they gonna play off games, or have nobody.
They're not in October.
That's on what everything's going on at that time.
Yeah, I've never heard of them in October. That's usually late November, early December.
December, yeah.
Yeah, November, December. So,
Just wanna make sure that.
But being.
Good point.
Good
good point. No,
It's,
In December, so
do those things on Saturdays, I will. I will.
well, I get it. And does the whole committee have to be there for a town hall meeting? No? Not really. That would be. I don't. At a town hall meeting, we are looking for input from the citizen. We can make a presentation, we can tell them everything we've been doing, what we plan to do, but we're not taking any action during the town hall meeting.
I missed the last meeting, but I was able to watch it on Facebook after.
Yeah.
Most of it.
Which is good.
So you could,
So, and I wouldn't want to exclude anybody, but I'm saying, this is my opinion. The most important part of the town hall meeting is educating citizens of Willow Park, educating the commission from the viewpoint of the citizens, of Willow Park, getting feedback.
I personally think Thursday evening is the best. Because for anyone with kids, Saturdays are eaten up. and things going on. And it's the worst one for us, but it's probably the best one for them.
Yeah, but you're gonna bring it right into the fall festival, so different things are going on. Holiday season, it's
So what are you worried about that we're gonna have to get ready? Because we're gonna have gone through it
Not
Right.
everything.
almost.
We're gonna have a lot of the meat taken care of.
So what kind of marketing things do you think we'll need on that first meeting?
I don't even know yet. I don't know what I don't know.
Yeah, I think we can just continue to put all of our work out there for them to see. I don't think we need to make anything pretty at that point. It would be kind of a waste of effort, especially if we change. So I like the idea of just showing up on the Thursday and answering questions and hearing from them, and we'll be done with it.
Okay, any other thoughts?
When Charlie's feeling better, I would love to hear what he has to say about advertising and,
Yes.
you know, ways that we can build awareness, community awareness, because you're right, if we get 500 people to actually vote, that's a big win. But I would like to make an effort to make sure that people know about it if they're interested.
I just think as far as our workload beforehand, which you said was your major concern. If I was a voter and I was showing up to give my input and I had already been handed some already decided nice marketing material, that's when my walls go up.
Yeah.
So I think our attitude and appearance on these town halls need to be, we're gonna show up and listen to you and make your voice heard. So I mean, I hear what you're saying, but let's just get it done. Let's start hearing from you.
Yeah, I think John be a Charles and Charlie be. That's listening, yeah, all good.
I agree. Seconded.
It's really good, Michael. Comes from you.
Well, that was smooth.
Okay.
Anybody else talks, I'm over here, well, see all kind of wings and everything.
Yeah, I got it. Go ahead, Sandy.
Don't write that down, Secretary.
How about I make a motion that we go with the Thursday date, Thursday, October 16th. 2025.
The October 16th.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion and seconded. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thursday, the 16th, we will target for our first town hall meeting. Going on, the following meeting we would have is the 22nd of October, where we would go through maybe 3 more sections. And then we have a 5th of November where we should basically be, by my plan, done all the way through. Again, easy to say. Well, we may know by the end of this evening how tough it will be to go through these various sections. Okay? And so then I would be proposing that we would have a follow-up town hall meeting mid-November. And if what I've outlined here, actually, if we can meet this plan, we will be done with a good product by the first week in December, I think.
I agree.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about November. Would you go with the same opinion that the Thursday night might be the best time to try and do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I definitely won't be able to make it, I'm saying, there's no way possible.
Well, that's starting to bump into Thanksgiving and, I mean, we're cramming down the throat of the holiday.
Especially when you're in the barbecue business and a lot of work's.
Right. Okay. So do I hear a motion on that?
Make that motion.
Second. Carol and David? Okay, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? And then we would still have meetings scheduled for the 19th of November and the 3rd of December with a goal to present the charter to the council at their first scheduled meeting in December. Gives them plenty of time to digest it and be prepared to call the election for the charter for the May election. Okay? Thank you.
Yeah.
Miss Mary, do you have any input? You've been very quiet. You're the only one.
Yeah, I'm listening. I've been recovering from the flu and just taking it all in.
Outstanding.
You're our best member.
Okay.
Most productive one.
Well, good. Okay, back to text editing. We have made it to section 102, form of government. The city's municipal government provided by this charter shall be a, quote, council manager government, end quote. Pursuant to the provisions of and subject only to the limitations imposed by the state constitutions, the state laws, and this charter, all powers of the city shall be vested in and exercised by an elected council, hereinafter referred to as, quote, the city council, unquote, which shall enact legislation, adopt budgets, determine policies, and appoint the city manager who shall execute the laws and administer the government of the city. Comments?
What then, Judge?
It looks good. It's all a tool. All this is a tool for us to use.
Yes, sir.
Are there any quibbles with any of that text?
Fritz, what do you think, bud?
I like it.
So what I'm hearing is that we are good with the Article 1 form of government as amended.
Yes.
Consensus?
Thumbs up, Johnny.
All right. So that is a consensus decision to accept the first article. That's 7:38. Okay, powers of the city. General powers. The city shall have all the powers granted to cities by the Constitution and laws of the state of Texas, together with all of the implied powers necessary to carry into execution such granted powers. These are long enough. We're going sentence by sentence. So we can revisit the entirety of a section, but I want to hear if anybody has a problem with any of the wording in a sentence as we go. Everybody good with that?
Yes.
Okay. The city may use a corporate seal, may sue and be sued, may contract and be contracted with, may cooperate with the government of the state of Texas or any agency or any political subdivision thereof, or with the federal government or any agency thereof to accomplish any lawful purpose. The city shall regulate a wide range of local activities in order to promote the health, welfare, morals, comfort, and safety of the city and its inhabitants.
Look,
Why do we have to go for it?
Yeah, I'd get rid of one of that.
I'd get rid of both the healths. I don't want it in any health. Personally,
In an emergency, that might be.
We have to.
Yeah,
especially during the state of emergency.
But it is, I don't think we need it there twice.
No, that's what we're saying, it's just strike one of them.
Right.
He's just showing ours.
Fritz, did you?
Well, I don't like, I mean, I'd scratch almost all.
You would rather have welfare.
So that
Remove the
Health and
constitutional
welfare.
rights of its inhabitants is what I would put.
Talk to us, Fritz. Where's Ben?
No, I think, was it Carol, did you say that in an emergency,
All of that would be important.
we,
Not
how
comfortable.
many people have actually been in the middle of an emergency? Where water services weren't available for 3 weeks.
Oh, that's horrible.
And power. And sewer.
Power, yeah, well, water and sewer go away when the power goes away. The health issues. Yeah, the city should still have some regard for the health of the city and its inhabitants. So.
I'm just saying the last line is what gets abused every time.
The last line.
Just all of it. That's how you get COVID shutdowns and
Yeah, but I've worked a lot of hurricanes, a lot of tornadoes, a lot of different kinds of severe weather, worked with FEMA, state of Texas, 7, 8, 10 counties. It all was the most important.
no, I agree, but what we're doing here is we're giving a new entity. So I'm not talking about taking away the state or any of the agencies that you just named having that right.
But that actually pertaining to everything that we did.
I understand, but you're about to give that power to another entity. And that's my, like, we're not talking about any of those. Look, I'm nitpicking, but I'm just telling you, the state would still have the ability to do all that. The county would, everything else. You're just giving another layer of government the ability to do more.
And what are you
The-
gonna do if the county or the state or the Fed, for whatever reason, doesn't respond or doesn't respond quickly? Then you're stuck with the city, and the city will need to be. If nobody else is out there, the city may be the only entity that's available to.
Well,
do
right now, the
work.
city wouldn't have anything to be able to do with that anyways, because we took the fire department and everything and made it its own thing, so. Like, they wouldn't have the ability to deal with health stuff, so we're just talking about their ability to regulate and do stuff.
Well, you don't know,
Not
that.
act.
You don't know that, you don't know that, you know, you don't know what the city and the city council might try, if they have the ability to do that, they might try and, you know, round up the citizens and ask for assistance from the citizens of Willow Park to create a concerted effort to deal with health issues or, you know, getting rid of debris.
I totally get it, and I'm just telling y'all, this is where we've lost a lot of our liberties, is in this part right here, so. I'm not nitpicking, I'm just telling you, I definitely want to take health out twice, because it's not proper. But I don't want the city to regulate my comfort. Unless in the event of an emergency.
But the city can provide you with parks and other things for your comfort if you so choose to use them. Right? Health, water quality, you know, those are the things
I'm not saying they shouldn't be in,
Right.
we're telling them they shall regulate.
How about if
It's not an option.
How about
Gotcha,
have
okay.
the
Now-
ability, but not necessarily mandate that they do it?
A may is different than a shall. We're telling them the city shall regulate our
I'm
comfort.
not saying take out the shall, I'm saying take out the shall, but put in.
May. Whoa.
No, I could
Do you
not
wanna
do
say, that do you wanna say the city may
No,
regulate safety?
I never said may.
I
Let's
just,
be that clear, I never said
I know,
may.
but
I said.
All I'm
add
saying
to
is
the
what
shall.
we kind of all agree with is like in the state of an emergency, they should be able to do something.
well, that's not.
That's not what this says.
That's not what all this deals with. This isn't, you know, safety is not a state of emergency. We have a police department. They shall deal with safety issues.
But this is saying the city shall regulate.
Can I go back and clarify what I said?
Yes, sir.
I didn't say may, never said use that word, but leave shall in there. But have the shall have the ability. Not shall, you must do, control all of these things, but you have the power to when necessary. So that's different than just a clean shall,
Hmm.
because clean shall means you gotta run the show.
Mhm.
On every,
You're worried that this creates a duty, not a right,
right,
or,
uh,
so the purpose of this clause is, I think, most charters, it's to grant the city government the full police power, right? So when you use health, welfare, safety, morals, comfort, that's just a general statement of police power. And that's just the government can do what it needs to make life better for its citizens. And what the concern here is that the shall says mandates that we have to do that, or the city has to do that. No, what we want to do here is just give them the option to do so if they so choose.
Well, if you give them an option, they're gonna do it.
Yeah,
Okay, so,
so
go ahead.
the shall, if you want to tinker with that, and so the city shall have the authority to regulate, then I think that
We agree.
makes it optional.
No, the
We're
words
not
that
mandating
David, the
anything.
word David said was, like, correct. The city shall have the ability to regulate a wide range of local activities. Now, that's weaker than authority. But this is under a subject that says general powers, so
Exactly. General powers.
Right.
That's the key word.
So the city shall regulate is a power of the city that can be exercised.
Give you a prime example, let's change it over and let's say the city may regulate a wide range of things. Let's go with comfort in there. Well, let's say the city says, all right, we don't want to regulate any more roads. It's on everybody, they can drive on potholes. They want your comfort.
I think they already did.
That's what we have to read.
Just saying, if they're not being worded, words judge, am I right? Wording is everybody.
Well, of course it is. I
Especially
think
court law.
when it says the city shall regulate a wide range, that provides an option there. It means there's gonna be a choice made. Whether they're choosing roads over water or water over the fire department, whatever you're talking about there, I don't think there's a problem with shall regulate a wide range. It didn't say shall regulate activities to promote that, it's a wide range. It opens it up. I don't see the danger, in that. I know you do, but I don't see a danger.
But Judge, if we do a wide range, should it say after that, but not limited to? If you're gonna add diverse words in there,
I think we can stand on its own. I don't.
Well, that's our attorney, not our attorney, but the city attorney. How do you feel about the terminology he just used?
Did you say that again, please?
when Judge was talking about we regulate a wide range, but saying not limited to local activities in order to promote the health, welfare, morals, comfort, and safety of the city and its inhabitants. But it's going in there, and do we need to put in, but not limited to?
So again, the phrase we're talking about to promote the health, welfare, morals, comfort, and safety. That phrase in American jurisprudence means that we're giving the city full powers of local self-government. And that's what you need to do in an organic document like this. All these questions about how we use that power or how far is too far, what our priorities are as far as spending or enforcement. That's going to be decided in future elections.
This opens them up to be able to set a lot of laws
Right.
under anything under there.
Right.
Which I understand, but I'm just telling you, like, this is where all the cities that we would probably disagree with the politics on, this is what they use to do all kinds of stuff. Raise minimum wages, put in tree ordinances, require people to have this and that, and da 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 da. Like, this is where it happens.
Then we vote them out of office.
Well,
Yeah, well.
I
Something
mean,
I've
we're talking
always,
about what power we're gonna give these people. I'm just telling you what I've seen happen.
So do you have a problem with morals, regulating things on morals?
I mean, honestly, yes. I have a problem with all
Well,
of it.
we currently in Wool Park have a section in the code book that defines what you have to do to run a sexually oriented business.
No, I'm fine with stuff like that. What I'm telling,
Yeah,
I personally,
that's
and I
more-
understand the judge's interpretation, shall mean something to me. In all of this stuff,
Mhm.
and I understand what his argument on, well, it's a wide range, opens it up a little bit. I'm just trained to be scared of that word, and I think that we need to be careful with it.
Let me, okay. The word shall is the bright shining light for you. What if we said the city has the power to regulate?
That's fine.
That would be
Does
better.
that diminish the meaning of that sentence?
I just believe that
Chris,
that would be better.
does it?
I think that works as also.
I want somebody to read that and say we have to do this,
The
even
city-
if there's not a problem. We just have to proactively do it.
Authority to
Chris said be better to put authority instead of power to regulate a wide range.
It's under article.
I think power works
Powers
as well.
of the city.
Or you can lawyer it up and say power and authority, get longer. Love words.
Okay? Well, how do we feel about that paragraph as it looks right now?
Oh, we should have left shall in. No, gone. It's
I mean, I appreciate you sort of. Okay, consensus, yes, no?
I hate to say this, but if you're gonna be logically consistent, the rest of the paragraph talks about the city shall have all the powers granted. I think it needs to say that it shall have the power to regulate as opposed to have the power, because it doesn't have the power until this document is approved in the election. At that point, then it has the power, not yet.
Miss Carol, remember he said he blue screen me, that blue screen's out there.
Yeah, I know that shall is out and I think it needs to be in.
So you want to restore shall and change has to have.
No,
The city shall
the
have.
city shall have the power,
Yeah.
Right.
because I think that's consistent, entirely consistent with the rest of the paragraph, which is creating and granting powers, not saying that the city already has them. And I know that's gonna pop
Yeah,
up court.
I mean, you'll just have to understand my perspective. It's like every 2 years we went down there and a city tried to do something new. And because it wasn't expressly forbidden by the state, then we had to go in and smack them down and say, you can't do that. Because of these wide range things of like, you can do anything that it says you can't do. And that opened it up to anything and everything to everyone. And then every 2 years they come in and say, no, we didn't mean that. We didn't mean that. And we're gonna have to wait every 2 years to get the state to change that if you open it up this wide. Which maybe some people want to do. I just have seen it abused. And I don't like it. But
Sarah, I make a motion that Miss Carol and Jonathan do rock, paper, scissors.
That is an inappropriate motion. Thank you. So that sentence. I would like to know if we have consensus on this sentence. The city shall have the power to regulate a wide range of local activities in order to promote the health, welfare, morals, comfort, and safety of the city and its inhabitants. Okay, we have one down. You have the floor.
Yeah,
You gotta tell us why you don't like it.
I agree with what Jonathan has stated, and I think shall gives a mandate and an authority that should not always be acted upon just because you can. And
Well,
We all know
shall
how it
have the
goes to
power
wait.
to does not mean the same as shall regulate.
It's better. Is it good enough?
Well,
Yes.
the city basically has most of those powers inherently.
Really?
Nuh-uh, not unless the ones
Well-
we created, the power, the charter. It's
Even
only gonna
under
have what
general
we
law.
give them in here.
Even under general law, the city has certain powers to ensure most everything in that sentence.
Is that true?
Yes. Although I can bring up, I mean, there is a specific statutory provision and I think it's chapter 53. It gives IFA general law municipalities all of this kind of power and city attorneys always argued that that's enough and so. There have been arguments, for example, there was we're at a dent in a couple of years, was it, 10 years ago. He challenged general law city's authority to enact sex offender residency restrictions. And he sued about, I would say, 15 to 20 cities across the state. The legislature stepped in and granted general law cities the specific authority, because he said, well, that statute is general. It just says, health, safety, welfare. But it doesn't say anything specific about sex offender residency restrictions. Legislature fixed the problem and the cases were dismissed as moot. But that's the argument. I personally think that statute's enough, but when you create a general law city, you avoid that problem. And again, I think shall have the power means you can exercise it if you want to, but you don't have to. And again, y'all are putting language that's gonna be binding on the city council and the city for decades to come. And, one of the beautiful things I've always liked about representing cities is they're very diverse. And, some cities, they wanna regulate, minimum wage and,
They do.
all that stuff. Some cities, the citizens don't wanna do that. Uh,
I do think we should be very leery of creating a charter provision that would grant the city of Willow Park less than the normal range of police power.
Exactly.
Well, if you're gonna have shall in there, would it be better to have the city shall have the power to,
That's better than what it was.
but with, majority voter approval.
No, we still live in a republic, Mike.
That's, well, what I'm doing is trying to make a point, going from may to shall.
Yeah, I don't think we should have.
So that's the same way, John. As far as if we take shall out.
If majority wants to go this direction, that is fine. I think we've talked about this for a long time, and I know you have more to
Right.
say.
Or you give it thumbs down.
I'm very pro police, but at the same time, I'm also very small government. I'll be very open. No city shall tell me to do anything I don't want to do. But at the same time, if it interferes with the safety of the citizens, that's one thing. So I'm just kind of hard-headed. I felt, city's not gonna tell me what to do. I'm just very leery of things like that.
And my argument would be on the other side is because I'm pro police too, and I would like to see a lot of those things stronger, okay, towards my stuff. That doesn't mean we can't give them that specific power later. My problem is this provision and where it is that this whole deal is gonna open up
I know.
everything. It doesn't mean by changing this that we're not giving them the power to have a strong police situation, correct?
Well, there is an implied part to that sentence. The city shall have the power to regulate as needed. And what Carol started much earlier in this conversation, in an emergency situation, you need to be able to cover needs that are not normal. And I would not want us to frame the language to exclude or deny the ability to address those needs.
I agree.
And remember, police power is a term that encompasses more than just the activities of the police.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so I ask again. Consensus on section 2.01 general powers. Are we good? Can we live with it?
I mean, I'm not gonna walk out.
Well,
The,
the thumb down, you specifically can't live with it and you have a firm objection that you can explain to the group.
well, I think I've already tried it.
Yeah.
Hmm. Okay. I would say we should move on.
Yeah, I'm
I
fine
will
with
leave,
moving on.
I will leave the text as we have it here. Yeah. Now, 2.02 specific powers.
Just to say, this is where we could have put all the police stuff in, on specific powers,
Uh,
instead of carte blanche. So that was my basic.
Well, those are general statements in 2.1. Annexation and disannexation. I have not studied this, nor do I know if this section meets current state law. I don't know if there were any, I know that in 2023, there was some tightening of the annexation abilities.
But our senator knows.
He's not here today.
I don't know if this.
So, I mean, there's 3 paragraphs, 3 subsections, and basically what this says, if you reduce it, take all the fluff out, is we can annex if state law allows us to annex, which has always been the case. But that's essentially all that says.
Well, state law trumps whatever
Well, it already
you
says
put in here anyway.
in compliance with all requirements of state law.
That's correct.
So I would say that's a good get out of jail free card.
So this is, it's not like it gives anything additional. It doesn't reinstate any involuntary annexation authority. So it essentially incorporates state law.
Okay, my
I
rep-
I don't foresee in my lifetime the legislature going back on the annexation authority limitations.
So we actually have a part of this. There is an island of county within the city limits of Willow Park.
That happens more often than you would think, but yeah, it happens.
So if we didn't want the city to ever get bigger, then this would be our chance to take it out and stop that.
Yeah, but it wouldn't pass.
What?
If we took out, the city has not, if we deny the city the power to annex.
Mhm.
I'm
I'm not saying deny it, I'm saying change it. Require a vote or something. We could put more restrictions on annexation than what state law requires.
I don't know how you could do that, honestly. I mean, non-consent annexations are limited to right of way and certain public facilities. Everything has to be by election or consent of the property owner nowadays.
Right.
And
I know it has to be, because I'm talking about like if somebody say had a ranch around here. And they were the owner of the ranch, but everybody knew they wanted to become a massive development one day. So that guy could move a trailer on his home, be the only person that voluntarily annexed, and no one else ever has any say on it. That's what I'm concerned about.
I don't think that's happened more than 2 or 3 times in the last year.
Yeah.
you're worried that that person would come into the city and the city council would have to approve it.
Yeah. Or we could require more. requirements right now by changing this.
There was an election exactly on that last November.
So they're not all elections.
Just a little bit east of here. No, it was actually on the ballot.
Well, that one was, but
And it was
all of them have to be.
100%, but one guy voted.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying that the other people vote to take the bet.
There's something else that needs to be considered here. I mean, we all are gonna come up with what we think of as a good charter. The first hurdle it's gonna have to meet is the city council. I don't think the city council is going to be willing to sign off on a charter that has more than what I'll consider kind of the normal annexation powers. And if you could get it through the city council, I'm not sure you could get it through the voters. But I know
What's
you
the risk?
couldn't, I know you couldn't get that through the city council.
Well, let me suggest this.
Think they have plans to annex more?
Um, This one's complicated enough. If you have a proposal to revise this section, can you submit it to me and we can revisit this? At the next meeting?
Yeah, and it's very simple. The only one that I have a problem with is the voluntary annexation. The fact that that person gets to vote and the people that then take that in don't always get a vote is my problem. So some kind of language to
Yeah, I
stop
don't
that.
have, I really don't know how to,
Yeah, I don't know that it's been done before, but that would be the goal. Mr. Lawyer, do you have?
So let me try and make sure I understand. I'm not sure that I do understand completely what your concern is. And that's not. It's not your fault. It's probably mine. It's late in the day and I've been doing this all day, but. Your concern is somebody owns a piece of property and they say, you know, I would like to come into the city. There's a provision in current annexation law that says that a owner of property can petition a request for annexation. That's okay.
And then the council has to approve it.
What's that?
The council then has to,
Council then has to,
and the voters get no say.
not directly, no. Which, yeah, because
That's my problem.
so you're talking about someone that owns the property, not that other people that are voters live on the property. Is that what we're talking about?
I'm talking about the second that they're annexed, which they can say, I want to be annexed. I want to be a citizen of Willow Park. A couple people out here could say, we agree. There could be real discussion about the impacts of how much is it going to cost to provide water and all the services that we are agreeing to in this previous part of the document that we're all on the hook for them.
So the new consent annexation statute, I say new, it's 3 years old now, but. Used to annex something involuntary, we had to come up with a service plan and a service agreement. It was very convoluted. Now, when a property owner comes in and says, I want to be in the city. Well, at that point, that person in the city has to sit down and say, okay. One of the things we have to do is come up with a service plan or service agreement. And that could be as simple as, I don't need your services, I don't want your services, I'm never gonna want your services. And that's enough all nowadays. Or they can say, you know, please provide me water within the next 10 years so I can develop it. But that's subject to negotiation for every specific piece of property that petitions for annexation.
okay.
So that's I think that's best, under current law, it's best something that's looked at on a case by case basis.
Chris, under current law, are you aware of any city that has done something like what Jonathan is proposing, which is saying that an annexation under certain circumstances is subject to voter approval,
Citywide.
citywide voter approval prior to an annexation being processed, let's say?
So I do know there are voter approval for a specific area that has a bunch of residents that's already developed and they want to come into a city. Yes, you can have a vote in that area to determine whether you become part of the city. But as far as like an annexation is sent on a
Correct.
referendum, yeah. I don't believe there's any provision for that.
Do you think that if the city of Willow Park had a charter provision of that sort, we would be susceptible to a court challenge?
I am not prepared to answer that. That is a very, very, very good question. I mean,
Listen, I've been sued for nothing, so I mean susceptible,
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
don't
sure
have
what
to-
I like.
well, can I get sued for that? Like, you
Yeah.
know what it takes to sue somebody? It takes a piece of paper, some ink, and about $350.
That's why I didn't say can, I said susceptible.
All we would be doing is mirroring other parts and just applying. We're not doing anything new necessarily. We're doing something new in regards to something else that we've already done. So we're just putting two together that haven't been before. But I don't know that they haven't been before. There are some cities that self-elect to do this.
In other words, they put provisions in their charter that says that you can't come in unless there's an election.
Some cities hold those voter approval things citywide because they are controversial or whatever. They can elect to have it. They could kick it to the voters. So, and I'm not sure that it hasn't happened. I'm pretty sure it has.
I'm not prepared to answer that question. I can be.
I would love to know the answer to that question.
Is there, so,
Hmm?
Jonathan, are you willing to take on the action item to find an example of a charter that contains that?
I will take on. I would rather do your first request, which is come up with different language and then think about it, present it to you guys on what I need to. I mean, I'm on the fly here. I just know that we've been dealing with this. And I think a lot of us feel the same way about some of these situations we're facing. So this is the time to do that specifically, perhaps.
So in a general sense, I am okay with this text.
Mhm.
Now, what we're talking about, I think, are some special cases that we might want to cover. And I'm not sure what special cases are explicitly and how we can deal with it. That's two things. And by the way, the reference I was thinking to was not part of an annexation. It was the guy voted to create a municipal utility district,
That was all.
which is kind of the same thing.
I would really love to have Fritz take a dive into this and then come back to us at our next meeting and give us a little bit of guidance on
I'm good
what's
with that.
out there and how it's been received.
So the specific question, just so make sure I understand it, is can we impose a vote requirement for new territory as annexed?
And I'm not sure that it's on all annexations. I think it's only on certain.
John was pretty much developers. Right?
Huh?
You were pretty much talking about developers.
Some of the ones outside of the city. So have nothing to do with.
Want to do that. If I said, oh,
Well, let me ask you this. Is there anything useful we can do with section 2.02.01 this evening, or we at an impasse?
We're in. And I agree that it would be nice to get some information in all of this as well.
So I would suppose we move on.
Well, can I ask you more things as we go into deliberation on options? Since we're concerned about the fact that we want to get broad consensus for these things to make sure the citizens are on board.
Mhm.
Is there any ability to extend that to just say, okay, it's gotta be a super majority council vote, it just can't be a simple vote? Would that be more restrictive? Can't really say unanimous, I don't think, but you could probably say at least super majority Which at least puts the council on the hooks for doing more due diligence as they
okay.
consider.
I don't know, I haven't looked, I think I glanced through, but did not look at a specific under the appointment of commissions. So we have planning commission, we have a zoning commission. And they can be combined like we have them here currently. But a request for annexation would go through the P and Z first. And if the P and Z gives a recommendation against, it should automatically require a supermajority from the council. So that's one way that can be put in place.
But if they recommended 4.
So if they recommend 4, then it takes a supermajority of the council to reverse that
To
recommendation.
reverse it, but not
Right,
approve it.
correct.
I'm just saying, right now, under the current way, one guy who owns a bunch of land could raise his hand and say, I want to do this. We have 2 members in the city council that none of us voted for currently, okay? And,
4.
huh?
4.
Well, I mean, that didn't. They were appointed, so like that, these are the kind of situations that I'm like, well, I don't know if literally 3 people right now could decide that all of us here are now on the hook for a whole bunch of crap and a lot of money. And it has definitely been happening, but I'm just saying this might be some.
Okay,
Well, I would love to know what Fritz has to say, and then I think we can frame that as one of the questions that we ask at the public, at the town hall.
Okay.
No
So-
pressure.
I just looked through and that there are visions for areas to come in by an election, so. Areas with less than 200 inhabitants can by election ask to come into a city. I think what we're most worried about here is a developer requests that someone come into the city, the property comes into the city. City council votes and makes all these promises regarding the provision of services, and then the taxpayers are on the hook.
Not even just that. I mean, we're signing up. Citizens have certain things. The previous parts of this. So it's not like they vote to give them stuff. They're gonna get stuff. They're gonna have all the same rights to everything that we do.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
So
And I think that's a very legitimate concern. I just want to, if we're gonna make that as a recommendation, I want to make sure that we're doing it in a way that has been done before and has been done successfully. So if we do draw a judicial challenge, we've at least got some precedent to back us up.
I will certainly look at that issue.
Thank you.
okay. I'd like us to move on a little bit further through this. Yeah. And maybe later we'll revisit, do we really want to mandate that we're done at 9 o'clock? The city may acquire public property, section 2.0202. The city may acquire property within or out of its corporate limits for any municipal purpose in fee simple, or in any lesser interest or estate by purchase, gift, device, lease, or condemnation, and subject to the provisions of this charter may sell, lease, mortgage, hold, manage, improve, and control such property as may now or hereafter be owned by it, may pass ordinances and enact such regulations as may be expedient for the maintenance of good government, order, and peace of the city, and the welfare, health, morals, comfort, safety, and convenience of its inhabitants. Does anybody have any content on that language?
Yeah. So are we really talking about in this paragraph eminent domain?
No,
No, Well-
this is an eminent domain.
okay.
This is what the city may acquire to be owned by the city government. The within or out of its corporate limits kind of struck me as something odd.
That's why I was asking the question.
If the city buys land outside of the city limits, then the city is the owner, and can the city then just annex it? Huh, that's the question.
Not for the horse, we can't annex it. We don't own it. To acquire the property in the first instance, you would need to have this charter provision to allow acquisition of property outside city limits. And so I've seen this used scores of times, water lines, roadway improvements. Sometimes parks aren't necessarily in the city. Water treatment plants, wastewater treatment plants. I mean, there's a lot of instances where legitimately the city government might want to acquire property that's not necessarily in its corporate limits. And I think putting any
Well,
constraints on that.
Chris, at one point, Willow Park was actually operating two water systems. That
Oh, I
were
know.
nowhere near the city, but they didn't own the property. They were just managing. So that I didn't think that applied.
Yeah, it does, because that's a lesser interest or estate.
Anyway, I'm not sure that that's a problem. I don't know that it's ever occurred to anybody in Willow Park to purchase property not in Willow Park. So, I don't know. Other than that, I don't have any problem with the language itself. Again, I think it's a normal power of the city. Commentary? Everybody good with 20202?
Only the English teacher will give you that for that sentence.
I'm sorry?
There's no English teacher in the world that will not give you that for that sentence.
Which one? Yeah, but
And
when
there's
we're
no
looking-
lawyer, I'll say, it's fine.
I know, it's the whole paragraph.
Diagram this sentence, please.
Oh, yeah.
English teacher, nobody in here actually teaches English, do they? Oh, good.
Well, we homeschool, so.
Well, that's reasonable.
There are many ways to make that paragraph easier to read. But
And I would propose that we don't actually entertain those ways tonight. 2.0203, streets. City have exclusive dominion, control, and jurisdiction in, upon, over, and under the public streets, sidewalks, alleys, highways, public squares, public ways, except those under control under county or state, and I added or federal control. And I added federal because we have an interstate running through our middle. If required by state law, that are within the corporate limits of the city and in, upon, over, and under all public property of the city. So they have gone a little bit beyond streets there, which is okay with me. With respect to each and every public street, sidewalk, alley, highway, public square, public park, or other public way, except those under county, state, or federal control. that are within the corporate limits of the city shall have the power to establish, maintain, improve, alter, abandon, or vacate the same, to regulate the use thereof, including but not limited to the right to erect traffic signals, lights, and signs thereon, and to abate and remove in a summary manner any encroachment thereon. Everybody good with that?
I would add, after a couple of times it says county or state or federal, where'd you put in, if required by state or federal?
Required by applicable law.
Applicable law, yeah, something, but you got only by state, but you're referring to federal laws.
I'll go with adding or federal law.
Either way,
I'll do it there.
you're required by applicable law.
Or we can take a stand for the 10th Amendment.
State.
You should say applicable law, and that covers everything.
I'm gonna put or federal in here as a note for us, because I'm not sure.
If you stick it up above too, on the third line.
Comes in there twice.
Um,
Up, up, up. Up, up, up. Third one. Bingo.
it's there. Who knows it, nothing. I know that federal dollars go into I-20. I don't know if there is federal law that, actually,
It's the interstate, huh? Federal highway, isn't it?
So, yeah. Federal government doesn't own any highways. I was shocked to learn that about 10 years after I passed the bar exam, but yeah. All those signs out there, that's just the federal government saying, hey, we're gonna give you money. You just have to build this road to our specs, and put up our signs. But that right of way is owned by the Texas Department of Transportation.
Yes.
okay.
But I don't mind this language being in there because who knows what might change in the future.
Exactly why I don't want it there. With all due respect.
The original intent of the interstate system was not to enable citizens to move rapidly from one part of the country to
Yes.
another. It was initially for moving the armed forces around the country. Just saying. Thank you, White House.
By Congress, if they could come.
Okay, are we good with the first paragraph under streets? The city shall have the power to develop and
Can I
improve.
just make a, can you scroll right back up real quick?
Got it.
I'm not gonna, I'm just, the federal law,
Hmm.
I don't like it.
You
In
put it
there,
in there, you don't put it in there, it doesn't matter. If they make a federal law, you're gonna follow it.
but we get to choose whether we enforce it or not, and I don't have the ability on a lot of it. And
Well, then it won't be
they
required.
can come and
It won't be
enforce it,
required.
huh? No, they could come and enforce it, but whether they do or not. But now you're going to make sure, now we're going to basically tell the city, you have to administer federal law. We might be trying to nullify.
Jonathan, would you feel better if it said in each of those two cases, if required by applicable law?
No, I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm mainly just worried about, there's some federal stuff on emissions, there's federal stuff on that allows for red light cameras and speed cameras and things that the state has not been okay with. And if you throw that in there too, then and I just think it's convoluted this way.
Well, we
If
don't.
are required by state or federal law.
Well, we don't actually. control or have jurisdiction on the interstate explicitly.
Correct.
Now, we can write tickets on there,
Yes.
but we don't have the same jurisdiction on the interstate that we do on Ranch House Road.
Correct.
That's the distinction.
I understand what you're saying. Um,
I would,
I don't know what you want me to say.
well, how's this? I would like to leave the or federal in there until we can verify some things and see if there's a good reason.
What are you hoping that adding or federal is going to do for the city?
I'm not sure, well, something Fritz said, I'm not sure that it.
Well, I think
is-
what he brought up though was that we set it over here, but not over here, and he was wanting to do it all, if you're gonna do it all over. But unless there's a federal law that we would really like for the city to have jurisdiction and control over, that maybe the state law is different on.
Well, what I'd like to do is take a little time and verify if there are any applicable federal laws that relate to this subject.
No, we don't actually need if required by state or federal law, because it says we have exclusive control over everything in our city limits, except those that are under county, state, or federal control. Because by definition, if it's under their control, then the fact that it's in our city limits is neither here nor there. Did that help, Jonathan?
Really good point.
No, that is true. I'm talking about the stuff further down though. Where we added it everywhere.
Well, I think the same thing applies.
Except those under county or state or federal control. And then just take out if required by state or federal law.
So I mean, all we're talking about is street, right?
Well, it's the city has control over all the stuff in the city limits unless it's under control by county, state, or fed.
Which means that we have nothing to do with that. Everything else is all summed up in that great first sentence.
Well,
Why do you need that whole part he's got highlighted?
That's what I'm saying we can get rid of.
So
Yeah.
if I hit delete there, it will all go away. So.
Mhm.
Okay,
I think he can do it in the second place too.
you're right. I think that the if required by any law is redundant to
Under state, county, federal control.
the word control.
Much better.
Fritz, does that give you any heartburn?
No, man, it's not.
So I think the same thing applies here.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody good with that so far?
Yeah, just. It seems a little bit redundant to his point that they don't actually own any of this stuff. This is the federal transportation dollars they're always threatening to take away from different states when they're whatever, because they actually are ours.
Well,
And actually the same applies to every border crossing in Texas too.
right. But purse strings are some modicum amount of control.
Mhm.
So. Okay, the city shall have the power to develop and improve or cause the development or improve any and all public streets or ways.
Take out if required by state law.
Within the corporate by laying out, opening, narrowing, widening, straightening, extending, light, blah, blah, blah.
Only thing I'll say there, as far as other
Well,
situations, sometimes the city partners with the state. And then,
county,
yes, and they say, we're gonna fix this and you fix that and da 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 da, and I'm worried
Well, I was gonna, since Michael had something to do with that not too long ago. Are there any words missing in that long list of, things?
Motion.
I mean, it looks pretty inclusive to me. Purchasing, condemning, and taking property. Like filling, grading, raising, lowering, paving, and repairing in a permanent manner. The same, and by constructing, reconstructing, altering, repairing. Gutters, drains, sidewalk, culverts, other appurtenances and incidentals. I think that kind of becomes inclusive.
Well, I think it was summed up by maintenance. Continue.
What a concept.
Okay, does everybody understand this
No.
sentence?
I don't like the sound of it.
Cost of such development and improvement may be paid partly or entirely by assessments levied as a lien against the property abutting thereon.
That sucks.
Y'all wanna know about assessments?
I
Yeah,
know.
There's a chapter in the transportation code that essentially says. If I improve either a street in front of your property or, maybe a sidewalk or other public improvements. I can assess the adjoining properties. It's just the amount of the assessment cannot exceed. What is it, the special benefit conferred on the property? So to the extent, you have a crappy road in front of your house, you put up a nice new road, to the extent it increases the value of your property, the government can come in and say, I'll take that to help pay for the road. They are horribly unpopular. And in my 20 years of municipal law experience, I've only had to go to court for those once. It was in other words, how do I say this? They are authorized, and perhaps you want to keep it in there in case some ridiculous situation comes up in the future to give the city council the authority to do that, but never. It is almost never exercised because it's very unpopular and
Kill it then.
No,
for once,
okay, so
don't
Willow
want to
Park
kill that.
actually created an assessment one time in 1993 to create the Willow Park wastewater system. And it was an assessment against the footage of every business along the interstate per foot, including on Canyon Court that runs behind the service road here, just down from here. And turns out some of the property on Canyon Court was actually residential, not commercial. And they levied it anyway. Or I did, I was on the council then. And it's this phrase levied as a lien against the property. So whatever the cost was, and because that property was zoned commercial. Okay. So it was binding and requirement because of the zoning for that property. We have that assessment. And if we hadn't done that, Willow Park would not have a wastewater system. This wouldn't have happened. So I think that the provision here is required. Now, the phrase levied as a lien, the properties that were residential, the lien was placed on the property. No money was collected until the property sold to somebody who wanted to use it as a commercial entity. Okay. Now that's different from if they decide to run a sewer line. Let's see, you've already got sewer. If they ran a sewer line up Squaw Creek and assessed all the property on Squaw Creek per foot along the frontage of that property, and if they turned the corner and went up a side street and you were on a corner lot, it would assess against both of those.
They could have come and taken all our money on Sam Bass for the new road and
Something like that. Anyway,
We don't have sewer.
I would say that the ability to do an assessment is a tool that the city should have, but implementing it should there ought to be some controls on how that might be implemented. Okay,
Yeah, I'm just not comfortable with the lien against the property, because if you have a lien against a property, the seller may not know how much that lien is. And let's just say how real estate's always up and down, okay? Let's just say if the property loses its value and they're not aware of how much this lien is, they could be upside down in this.
well, no, the property owners would be made aware of what the lien is. It's not something that would just be filed against them. This would all be public notice and
I just don't think like residents who are homeowners
I
would
would think,
even want to negotiate having a lien against their property. I know I wouldn't.
right, and that's where I'm
$40,000,
going is
$60,000 lien.
accepting an assessment like that should be probably,
volunteer.
no, by a vote. That should be an election item.
I think so.
You really think they need it that bad?
Again,
You're to the left of the TML guy.
I don't work at TML.
I'm just kidding.
Kind of a libertarian that represents cities. Governments that tell you how high your grass can be. Trying to reconcile that, but
currently the requirement for grass is,
There are other, I would just argue this, on the assessments, there's other ways that they could do that. They could create a TIF or a special purpose district if they wanted to build something with businesses and they all agreed on it and no one was opposed to it. They have the means to do that without giving the city council the ability to come in and levy an assessment against anybody that they want.
okay, so I'm going to simply at this point highlight this phrase as, yeah, we gotta deal with that. But we are currently at 8:53.
Do you wanna go over construction and be done with the section?
Well, it's 3 lines, I don't know. The powers of the city under this charter shall be construed liberally in favor of the
Objection.
city. The specific mention of particular powers in the charter shall not be construed as limiting in any way the general power granted in this article. I think that is fairly standard caveat language.
Of course, being a Charlie, you're job with hell.
That's supposed to be your job.
No, we're already running way too slow, but that's okay. I mean, I understand. I have no problem with I understand what the title is, but it's not construction like we're gonna build a house. It is construction of the charter.
Then why don't we say that?
Construction of the provisions of the charter.
Something like that.
Say that again, Carol?
Construction of the provisions of this charter.
Brandon,
Sir,
you buying better than that?
I legally can,
No, you can't.
but my daddy told me not to
I
buy
think,
alcohol.
I think this construction is,
I'm sorry.
no, that's fine, that's fine.
Okay. Well, good. We got 2/3 of the way through the number of articles that I was hoping to. do we have a better feel now for what this is going to take?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
The flow.
Would
anybody like to discuss the idea of making these meetings last, say until 10 o'clock instead of 9? Ooh, okay.
Already been a long day.
It has.
Okay,
Normally we would have started at 6, or no, we do start at
we
7.
decided
Okay,
we're going to start at 7. Do we
Right.
want to move that to 6:30?
There was, somebody was, can't remember who it was, it has to come from Fort Worth.
Yeah, if I could get a police escort at 30 minutes, then we can do that.
Yeah, that might be.
Because for some reason it's shut down to one lane and I can't figure out why. It's the same port. There's no one out there.
Just, everybody.
Language. Thank you, Jen. Okay, we are right up against it. So
Y'all can get started.
Jonathan is the only one who so far has accepted an action item for the next meeting. The proposed schedule that we have says that at the next meeting, we are going to get through Articles 5, 6, and 9, in addition to Article 3 that we did not get through tonight. Here is my request. Please come to the next meeting armed with, I don't like this sentence because, and this is the way I would either like to have it read or removed. I would like that for Articles 3, 5, 6, and 9. Any objections?
To your request.
There will be a short test at the end of the meeting.
Hello, Dale.
You did
That's
the
an action
you did the
item
levied
for everybody.
assessment one, by the way.
I will. Oh, I know, but it's. I could have swept it under a rug. But I'm not going to. Okay. So, does anybody have any additional agenda items that they would like to propose for the next meeting?
I do. Respect the chairman, if we could, maybe put an agenda item on there to, if there's something we want to revisit from the Articles 1 and 2, some language that would allow that. I wouldn't imagine it would take much time, but just in case.
No, we can certainly, none of this. Well, we have a pretty good idea what we've agreed to. But the whole document is not, the piece parts are not standalone. There is some interaction amongst them. So we will have to be prepared to reconcile a thought we have in one article may affect something in an article that we think we've already agreed to, and we need to be cognizant that we can address those issues. Okay?
Could you give us the research, like you said, yes, it has been done on the annexation, the further requirements?
Yes.
Okay, it's 8:59. Does anybody have something they would like to say in the next 30 seconds? In that case, we are done for the day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do you get all that, Tammy?